When I got home, I found a note taped to my door. Dear neighbor, we understand you're newlyweds and full of energy, but please try to be more considerate of others. The constant noise until midnight has been severely disrupting our sleep schedule. I was stunned reading the note. I had been on a business trip for the last 2 weeks, leaving my wife, Ava, home alone. It was signed by the residents of apartment 1501, the unit right below mine. I held the note for a long time, unable to process what it meant. It had to be a prank. I tried to comfort myself with that thought. But once I stepped inside, I was hit with another blow. The house was a complete mess. Snack wrappers and takeout containers were strewn all over the dining table and the coffee table. About 10 empty beer bottles were scattered on the floor. Why would my wife be drinking beer all by herself at home? My head was buzzing. I still couldn't bring myself to believe it. That is, until I went into the bathroom and found that my razor had been moved, and the men's shampoo, which I had only used once, was now noticeably emptier. A rush of blood surged to my head. Just then, my wife sent me an iMessage. "What time is your flight tomorrow afternoon?" I clutched my phone for a long time, restraining myself from telling her that I had already come home early. "Honey, my flight is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'll probably get home around 8 o'clock. "Okay, got it." There was no extra word of concern, no reminder to be safe on my way back. Just a clear focus on my exact time of arrival. In the past, I might not have noticed these little details. But now, with the seeds of doubt planted in my mind, everything seemed off. I grabbed my suitcase and left the apartment. I checked into a hotel near our neighborhood and left my luggage there. Then I took a cab straight to Ava's office. My wife works as an administrator at a small company. The pay isn't great, but the job is easy. Her daily routine mainly consists of gossiping and drinking coffee with her colleagues. After work, it was always shopping, beauty treatments, and manicures. Seeing it was only 4 o'clock, I found a cafe across the street to sit in while I waited. I started scrolling through her social media. Most of her Facebook posts were just selfies of her eating and drinking out. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Then I checked her Instagram account. As I slowly scrolled down, I noticed the content was similar to her Facebook posts. However, I keenly noticed something was off. Ava has always preferred a quiet, elegant style. But about 3 months ago, she started occasionally posting photos in a hip-hop style. Colorful braids, baggy clothes, cool poses. I clicked on one of the photos. The caption read, "Does this look good?" It seemed like she was asking someone in particular. There were many likes and comments, and I scrutinized each one. One user with a profile picture of a floral tattoo commented, "Wow, stunning." I clicked on his profile and noticed that he also lived in Denver. The alarm on my phone rang. It was almost 5 o'clock. Afraid of missing Ava, I put my phone away and focused on the building across the street. A few moments later, Ava, wearing a dress, gracefully exited the building. She went straight to the curb and got into a taxi. It was heading in the opposite direction of our home. Luckily, there were plenty of empty cabs, even during rush hour. I quickly got into one and asked the driver to follow her cab. At this hour, traffic was moving smoothly. The taxi drove for over 20 minutes before stopping on a street in the South Broadway district. The street was lined with motorcycle shops. Ava got out of the car and entered the nearest shop called Road Rash Cycles. I got out and hid behind an SUV in a parking lot across the street to watch. Inside the shop, a man was lounging on a sofa, playing on his phone with his back to me. Ava, wearing high heels, walked right up to him. They exchanged a few words, and then the man pulled her directly onto his lap. His hand slid up under her skirt, and she didn't resist at all. Instead, she leaned into his arms even more flirtatiously. This kind of intimate behavior clearly wasn't their first time. My vision went black, and my whole body felt numb. Even up to that moment, I still didn't want to believe my wife would do something to betray me. But now, having seen it with my own eyes, I could no longer deceive myself. In that moment, I could barely resist the urge to rush over there. No, I told myself it wasn't the right time. I couldn't let them know I was onto them. I stared intently at the two of them clinging to each other. They were all over each other for a long time before finally standing up. Only then did I see that the man had a full sleeve of tattoos on his right arm. It was the exact same floral pattern I had seen on Instagram. The guy looked young, no more than in his early 20s. I found it unbelievable. My wife is almost 30, and she found herself some young stud. She stayed there for over an hour. When she left, the guy didn't follow her. It seemed they weren't planning on coming to our place tonight. I didn't rush to leave. I sat on the curb, my mind a mess, trying to figure out what to do next. From dating to marriage, I had always thought our relationship was strong, but I could not tolerate this blatant infidelity. Divorce was a given. This tattooed guy had been to my house, knowing my wife was married, and he just brazenly showed up every night, using my things, sleeping with my wife. I couldn't let this go without teaching them a severe lesson. Lost in these chaotic thoughts, I didn't know how much time had passed. Just as I decided to head back to the hotel, I saw something else. I saw another woman enter the tattooed guy's shop. She was dressed trendily, with a crop top and short shorts. She had bright hair and a lip piercing, exuding a wild kind of style. It was completely different from my wife's cool, goddess-like demeanor. She sat on the sofa and started kissing the tattooed guy. What was going on? Another one? This guy sure had some luck with women. Back at the hotel, I video called Ava. She complained about how exhausted she was from managing everything at home alone for the past 2 weeks while I was away. I almost lost my temper. She didn't do housework, she didn't cook, so what could possibly be so tiring? Was it tiring bringing a random guy home every day? Oh, by the way, she said, my parents are coming over for the weekend. Could you get something nice for them when you come back? Distracted, I just responded, oh, okay. I could already predict what my in-laws would say. They would bring up my brother-in-law's job situation again. I had gone through a lot of trouble to find him 2 jobs after he graduated, but he quit both of them after just a few days. He either complained that a $3,000 a month salary was too low, or that he didn't like working in a factory. But this kid only has an associate's degree and knows nothing. Does he really expect to find a high-paying office job right away? It's ridiculous. Ava's family not only didn't blame him, but they also accused me of finding him unreliable jobs and trying to cheat their family. I had wasted 2 favors and spent my own money and effort, but they still weren't satisfied. I was just a fool. Now, I was completely disheartened. Why should I care about my in-laws or my brother-in-law? It had nothing to do with me anymore. On Instagram, I carefully studied the account of the guy with the floral tattoo. I confirmed he was the man Ava met at the motorcycle shop today. His profile had some motorcycle photos and some deliberately posed, pretentious shots, especially under the post showing off his abs and oblique muscles. Many female fans left infatuated emojis. As a man, I know exactly what he's thinking. Posting those photos is just a way to attract women. I changed my account's gender to female, updated my profile picture to a photo of an innocent-looking college girl. I changed my username to sweet_kitten22. Then I left a comment. You're so handsome. I really want to touch those oblique muscles. I liked all of his posts to make sure he noticed me. The next day, I returned home at the scheduled time. The house was already spotless, with no trace of any outsider having been there. The first thing Ava asked when she saw me was if I had bought gifts for her parents. Then she came over and started searching through my suitcase. I couldn't help but think of her looking so blissfully happy in the arms of that tattooed guy yesterday. The thought made me feel nauseous. Late that night, when she was asleep, I secretly tried to check her phone, but I found the password had been changed. I opened Instagram and saw the tattoo guy had followed me back at some point. I sent him a private message. Hey, you're in Denver too? Can I get your number to iMessage you? The next day was Saturday, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law arrived early in the morning. As expected, within 3 minutes of entering the house, my mother-in-law couldn't wait to urge me to find another job for my brother-in-law, David. David studied electrical engineering, such a good major. Finding a job should be easy for him. I rolled my eyes inwardly. If it's so easy, why don't you find one for him yourself? Seeing that I didn't respond, my father-in-law seemed a bit displeased. You're an only child with no siblings. By marrying my daughter, you gain a college-educated brother. For others, it might not be such a great deal. Gaining a brother, what a novel idea. Who would possibly want that? But I just said, yes, you're right. My father-in-law continued. So if David has a successful career, you two can support each other in the future. I remember your dad has a friend working at that manufacturing plant. He hasn't retired yet, right? Just ask your dad to arrange something for David, preferably an office job with a permanent position. When I was job hunting, I was too embarrassed to ask my own dad to use his connections. But here they were, casually asking me to arrange everything for their son. Not to mention, my brother-in-law's qualifications didn't even meet the minimum requirements for such a position. I didn't immediately agree, and my mother-in-law's face fell. We worry about this every day. We can't eat or sleep. How can you be so heartless? He's a brother-in-law. What's the big deal about helping him out? A family should support each other. I looked at Ava, who also seemed displeased with me. Dad, Mom, it's not that I don't want to help. My dad and his friend haven't been in touch for years. It wouldn't be appropriate to just ask him out of the blue. What's so inappropriate? Relationships need to be maintained. Ask your dad to take him out to dinner a few times, and the relationship will get closer. Listening to their entitled demands, I really wanted to shout. Do you have any idea what disgusting things your daughter has been doing? And you still have the nerve to ask me for favors? Just then, I got a call from a delivery driver. I stood up and said, I'm going out to pick up a package. After picking it up, I really didn't want to face that family again. So I took the elevator up to the 10th floor and then slowly walked up the stairs to our apartment on the 16th. Just as I reached the door, I heard my mother-in-law's voice seemingly scolding Ava. Why are you still in touch with that guy? Aren't you afraid James will find out? If I don't say anything and you don't say anything, how would he ever find out? You. How could you? Just cut ties with that guy. And especially, don't let your husband find out. We still need his help to get David a job. Don't cause any trouble. Okay, I get it. Just drop it. He's coming back soon. Outside the door, I felt as if I'd been struck by lightning. So my in-laws already knew Ava had someone else. In their minds, the problem wasn't what their daughter did. The problem was that they still needed my help to get their son a job. I didn't know if I was more shocked or angry. I wanted to scream and laugh at the same time. So I was the only fool being kept in the dark all along. Fine. If everyone wants to act, let's see who can outact him. I pressed the elevator call button behind me. The elevator doors opened with a loud ding, and the voices inside the apartment suddenly stopped. I pretended to have just stepped out of the elevator as I opened the door and walked in. My mother-in-law, seeing me return, was about to continue her lecture. I interrupted her. Dad, Mom, you're right. A family should help each other. I'll handle David's job. No matter how hard it is, I'll find a way. My in-laws were overjoyed, praising me effusively. That's the spirit. I knew our son-in-law would help. Who else would you help if not your own brother? Once it's done, I'll treat your family to a nice dinner. They had originally planned to stay for 2 days, but seeing their goal was achieved, they happily left that same day. Ava's attitude towards me became much more affectionate. The tattooed guy replied to my private message and gave me his number for iMessage. I immediately added him using a pre-prepared fake account. This account had the same name as my fake Instagram account. He quickly accepted the friend request. I thought his Instagram was already pretentious enough, but his Facebook posts were even more exaggerated. 9 out of 10 posts were him showing off his muscles, like a peacock displaying its feathers. I messaged him, Hey, how do you stay in such good shape? You're so big. He replied instantly, What's big? Your muscles, silly. What did you think I meant? Oh, are you really a college student? Is your profile picture real? Yes, it's real. After seeing your photos, the guys at my school look like little kids. So unimpressive. Mature men are great. You wouldn't understand yet. He flirted with me, and I half-jokingly played along. We chatted occasionally through my fake account. He asked which university I attended, and I mentioned a small local college. But whenever I asked about his job or where he worked, he always avoided the topic. I felt there was something fishy going on, so I asked a friend to visit his motorcycle shop. My friend pretended to be looking at bikes and helped me gather some information. It turned out the shop belonged to his uncle, and he was just helping out. My friend also got me the tattoo guy's real phone number. Interestingly, the iMessage account linked to this number wasn't the one I had added with my fake account. No wonder he hadn't told me the truth. So he uses his main account to pretend to be a decent guy, and the fake one for flirting. To add his main account, I created another new account. After adding him, I said I was the person who had visited the shop earlier. The tattooed guy didn't suspect a thing and politely told me to reach out if I needed anything. I casually fished for more information. He was straightforward, saying he had a girlfriend introduced by his family who worked as a teacher at a private kindergarten. I was shocked. I couldn't believe the girl with the lip piercing was a kindergarten teacher. I said I had a cousin who wanted to be a teacher and asked if I could get some advice from his girlfriend. The tattooed guy said it was no problem and actually gave me her contact info for iMessage. The profile picture was of a sweet-looking girl holding a dog. This did not match the image of the girl with the lip piercing at all. I added her with my fake female account and pretended to ask for advice. She kindly responded to all of my questions. It was clear she was a gentle and polite girl. Checking her Facebook, I found some photos and confirmed she was not the girl with the lip piercing. All right, so a kindergarten teacher girlfriend, the girl with the lip piercing, and my married wife. Plus all the girls he was flirting with using his fake iMessage and Instagram accounts. This guy was definitely a player, a real scumbag who plays with fire and is bound to get burned. Whenever I had free time, I would wait outside the tattoo guy's shop. Finally, after a few days, I saw the girl with the lip piercing again. Before she entered the shop, I approached her. "Excuse me, miss. Our team is looking for some models, and your look and vibe are just perfect. Can I get your contact information?" She looked at me suspiciously, sizing me up. "Really?" I quickly said. "I can show you our account. We have a lot of followers on TikTok." I showed her our company's TikTok account. Nowadays, there are a lot of pretty girls, but very few with a unique style like yours. You're very rare. If our team selects you, you'll get paid for the shoot. Even if you're not selected, we won't charge you anything, so there's no risk of being scammed. We can add each other on iMessage or just exchange phone numbers. If you find it bothersome later, you can just delete my contact. She was tempted. After thinking it over, she gave me her number. I politely excused myself, but she called me back. "My boyfriend has a good look, too. Do you need any male models?" I chuckled. "Not for now, but we might consider it later." Then I quickly left. Since I had promised to find my brother-in-law a good job, my in-laws called every single day to check on my progress. I kept putting them off with various excuses. Ava treated me much better than before, but I grew colder and colder towards her. I started nitpicking over the smallest things. I used to be extremely tolerant, but now I was the complete opposite. She couldn't handle it, and we started arguing almost every day. After our fights, I wouldn't console her like I used to. I would come home late without telling her where I had been. When she got really upset, I would say, "I've been busy running around for your brother's job, entertaining people. If you can't help, at least don't fight with me. What do you want from me?" She was left speechless, almost furious, and went to complain to her mom. Her mom scolded her for being so inconsiderate. "I don't care how you two fight. The most important thing right now is your brother's job. Calm down, do you understand?" My wife was truly furious. Through all the nitpicking and cold shoulders, Ava endured my anger for days. Seeing that she was reaching her limit, I told her I had to go on another business trip. She had been holding back for a while. The day I left, she immediately arranged to meet the tattooed guy and booked a hotel room. She even paid for it herself. She used my money for everything else, but suddenly became generous for this young stud. It was pathetic. I hired someone to follow them. Once they were in the room, I texted the girl with the lip piercing. I mimicked a taunting tone. "Hey girl, he's with me right now." She called immediately. I hung up and texted her again. "Can't he take a break? Is he not satisfied with you? I just took a shower and he's already back for more. Who the hell are you? I'll kill you." It seemed she was furious. I switched to a different number and texted her, "Your boyfriend is with someone else at the downtown Marriott, room 802. Don't ask who I am. Hurry, or you might miss catching them." She did not disappoint me. Within 20 minutes, she arrived with a group of girls, all of them looking fierce. I hid in the emergency exit, watching the girl with the lip piercing and her friends. They banged on the door of room 802, yelling and kicking, but no one opened the door. The noise drew the attention of all the other guests on that floor. She stopped a passing housekeeper, who was initially reluctant to open the door for them. She got angry and said her boyfriend was trying to commit suicide inside. She claimed that if they delayed, The hotel would be held responsible. Scared, the housekeeper quickly used a master key to open the door. Smart move. Once the door was open, she and her friends rushed in immediately. I heard Ava's screams and the other girls' furious cursing. Wearing a hat and a mask, I blended into the crowd to watch the drama unfold. Her friends were aggressive, pulling Ava's hair and slapping her. They kept shouting, "Old woman, slut! How dare you touch my friend's man?" One girl slapped her dozens of times before grabbing a hotel slipper to continue the beating. Ava screamed in pain. She struggled, but two of the girls held her down firmly. The tattooed guy tried to intervene, but was pushed aside by the girl with the lip piercing. "Don't you move. I'm going to beat her to death today." No one in the crowd tried to stop them. Instead, they all took out their phones to take pictures and videos. In a short time, Ava's face was swollen from all the slaps. The girls weren't satisfied. They started to strip her clothes off and drag her out into the hallway. "Bitch, so slutty. Let everyone see you." My wife, completely disheveled, clung to her remaining underwear, almost fainting from crying. When the hotel staff and security finally arrived, I quickly left. I didn't go far, just waited outside the hotel. Half an hour later, the girl with the lip piercing, her friends, and the tattooed guy finally came out. No matter how much she cursed at him, the tattooed guy didn't say a single word. The last one to leave was Ava, beaten black and blue, stumbling as she walked. When Ava got home, I called her, but she didn't answer. I sent her an iMessage, but she ignored it. I sent another one. "Honey, my business trip ended early. I'll be home soon." This time, she finally responded. I'm almost home. Are you at home now?" She didn't reply again. 5 minutes later, I saw her rush out of our apartment complex and get into a taxi. Then an iMessage came through. "I'm at my mom's today." "Okay, I'll pick you up after dinner." "No need. I'll stay here tonight." I called my mother-in-law. As soon as she answered, she asked, "Is there any progress with the job?" I pretended to be in a difficult position. "It's not going very well. Their department is very tight on positions right now. We should be prepared for the possibility that it might not work out." My mother-in-law was anxious. What should we do then?" "Mom, don't worry. Actually, there's another way." "What is it?" "Money. If we have enough money, things will be much easier." My mother-in-law hesitated. In her mind, this was something I should be handling, especially since I hadn't asked them for any money for the first 2 jobs I found for my brother-in-law. "How much are we talking about?" "At least $40,000. "What? 40,000? I persuaded her. "This department offers great benefits. Many people would fight to get in. Once he's in, he can earn that back in 2 to 3 years. You have to spend money to make money." My mother-in-law was very conflicted. "But that's a lot of money. Let's think about it." Then I added, "By the way, Mom, when should I come pick up Ava?" "What? She's not here." "Didn't Ava say she was going to your place today?" "I came back from my trip, and she's not home." "Oh, right. I forgot. She's here, sleeping. You can ask her yourself later." My mother-in-law quickly changed her story. I smiled and hung up the phone. The next day, I tried to video call Ava, but she hung up. Then she sent a message saying her face was having a bad allergic reaction and she couldn't go to work or see anyone for a few days. I quickly asked if she was okay and if she needed to go to the hospital. She said it was fine, she just needed some rest, and that she would stay at her mom's for the next few days. She planned to recover at her mom's place. Given that her face was swollen like a pig's head, it would take at least a week or 2 to heal. 3 days after the confrontation, the girl with the lip piercing posted on her Facebook, "Kicked out the scumbag. Celebrating my return to single life." I messaged the tattooed guy with my fake account. "Hey, why haven't you chatted with me these days?" He replied, "Too busy." Busy my ass. More like busy dealing with the girl with the lip piercing. I found some provocative photos online and sent them to him. "Honey, do you like my new outfit?" "Can't see the clothes. I only notice your body." Drooling emoji. "You're so naughty. School is so boring. I want to come see you tomorrow." He perked up immediately and invited me to a hotel to watch TV. Watch TV, my ass. He just wanted to get straight to the point. Instead of the hotel, I suggested, "I know a secluded park that's beautiful and quiet. Let's go there instead." I added, "Honey, Don't you think it's more exciting outside? And we don't have to spend any money. The tattooed guy immediately agreed. Can I ride on your big motorcycle, honey? Of course, cutie. My bike is expensive. You've probably never ridden one like it. He flirted back without a hint of displeasure. Clearly, neither my wife nor the girl with the lip piercing meant anything significant to him. They were just tools to alleviate his boredom. That evening, I called my mother-in-law and asked what she had decided about the money. She hinted that the $40,000 was too much and asked if it could be less. Mom, a community college graduate like David wants to get into a good department. You have to invest some money. My mother-in-law fell silent. I pretended to think for a moment, then said decisively, All right, how about this? You prepare $20,000 first, and I'll handle the rest. Whether it's another $10,000 or $20,000, consider it my contribution as his brother-in-law. David can pay me back whenever he has the money. How about that? Hearing that she only needed to prepare $20,000, my mother-in-law felt much less pressure and immediately agreed. I told her to act quickly as the opportunity was limited, so she transferred the money to me that very day. $20,000, not a penny less. It was exactly the amount I had given them as a dowry. James, we've spent so much money. David's job should be secure now, right? In theory, yes. But we shouldn't be overly confident about anything. What if it doesn't work out? Can we get the money back? Mom, what are you thinking? We've already spent money on meals, gifts, and other expenses. How can we possibly get it back? But think positively. It should be fine. The next day, I arrived at the secluded park early. When the tattooed guy showed up on his motorcycle, I messaged him, Honey, are you here yet? I've been waiting for a while. He tried to video call me, but I hung up and replied, We'll see each other soon. I'm wearing a short skirt, very easy to recognize. Hurry up. Since cars couldn't enter the park, the tattooed guy parked his motorcycle just outside the entrance. Luckily, this was an undeveloped park with no management, no surveillance cameras, and very few people around. Once he walked away, I grabbed the tools I had brought, found his bike's alarm system, and disabled it. Then I started smashing. I smashed everything that could possibly be smashed until the bike was a total wreck. By the time the tattooed guy messaged me saying he couldn't find me, I was already long gone. Then I blocked him, thinking about how furious he would be when he saw his beloved bike turned into a heap of junk made me feel a rush of satisfaction. I felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Then I drove straight to my mother-in-law's house. When Ava finally came home, her face was bruised and swollen, but she insisted it was just an allergic reaction. In the middle of summer, she was wrapped up in long sleeves and pants. She was likely hiding more bruises on her body. She claimed she felt cold. I just played dumb. Ava had stayed at her parents' house for over a week, and it was becoming unreasonable for her not to come home. When she finally returned, despite being very careful, I discovered she was still in contact with the tattooed guy. The tattooed guy was sweet-talking her on iMessage. He said he had broken up with the girl with the lip piercing a long time ago, but she wouldn't give up and kept following him. He assured her that they were completely done this time and that nothing like this would ever happen again. My wife, having forgotten the pain once the wound healed, chose to forgive him. Then the tattooed guy mentioned that his motorcycle was broken and needed to be fixed before he could see her again. My love-struck wife even transferred $500 to him. Fine, fine, fine. A cheater and a player, together forever. Let's see if their love is truly so unbreakable. After transferring me the $20,000, my mother-in-law went from calling once a day to twice a day. She was terrified that something might go wrong. When I told her that my brother-in-law's job was almost settled, and that I just needed to privately give another $10,000 to $15,000 to seal the deal, she almost jumped for joy. She was absolutely ecstatic. I took the opportunity to suggest a celebratory dinner, inviting all their relatives. My mother-in-law agreed without a moment's hesitation. Sure, those relatives always say David is just living off of us. This time, I'll show them how amazing my son is. In my mind, I despised her. What's so amazing about your son? Which of his jobs did he ever get on his own? But aloud, I echoed her sentiment. Yes, exactly. I reserved 2 tables at a nice restaurant downtown. Ava's entire family, along with all her aunts and uncles, filled the tables. During the dinner, everyone was full of envy. They talked about how successful her son was and how his parents could now enjoy a comfortable life. They said Ava was lucky to have married such a capable man. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were grinning from ear to ear. Ava also seemed to be in a good mood. Recently, she and the tattooed guy had been incredibly sweet to each other. They were already planning whether to meet at a hotel or our house the next time I traveled. My brother-in-law was engrossed in games on his phone, not even bothering to thank me once. Suddenly, I felt an incredible sense of injustice for my past self. My father-in-law, a little drunk, patted my shoulder. "James, when are you and Ava going to give me a big, healthy grandson?" Ava muttered, "Why have kids?" My mother-in-law nudged her. "You're almost 30. If not now, when?" I just smiled without saying a word. The large screen in the private dining room was playing music, but it suddenly switched to a video. "Old woman, how dare you touch my friend's man? Please stop fighting. Don't move. I'm going to kill her today." Everyone's attention was immediately drawn to the screen. There, clear as day, was Ava, her clothes disheveled, being dragged and beaten by several women. A shirtless man stood nearby, watching. "Bitch, so slutty. Let's strip her naked for everyone to see." "No, no. Your boobs are so big. Come on, say something dirty for us to hear." My mother-in-law looked like she was about to faint from shock. My father-in-law's face turned dark with rage. Ava stared dumbly at the screen, dropping her teacup, which shattered on the floor. Everyone was stunned into silence. In the midst of the silence, my brother-in-law spoke up. "Damn, sis, who are you shacking up with?" My mother-in-law looked at me. "What nonsense? This can't be your sister." "Waiter, what are you showing on that screen? Turn it off." My brother-in-law tried to say more, but my father-in-law shot him a look that made him shut his mouth. I looked at Ava, my expression completely calm. "I need an explanation." Ava's face turned beet red. She stared blankly, not knowing what to say. My mother-in-law, with a smile that looked more hideous than a cry, said, "James, this can't be Ava. Mom, there's no need to say any more. I'm not so blind that I can't recognize my own wife." My father-in-law, thinking I was suppressing my anger and afraid the situation might get out of hand, turned on Ava. He sternly yelled at my wife. "Speak up. What the hell is going on?" Ava, terrified, started to cry. "Why are you crying? Do you still have the nerve to cry?" My father-in-law, with his violent temper, slapped her across the face. I watched them coldly, thinking about how they knew about their daughter's affair all along. Why were they only disciplining her now? Why not earlier? Some of the relatives tried to mediate, saying not to push the girl too hard. They said that Ava had always been a good girl and that there must be some misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding leads to being caught in a hotel room like that? Seeing my goal had been achieved, I said nothing more and got up to leave. My mother-in-law tried to stop me, but I shook her hand off roughly. I spent the night in a hotel. My mother-in-law and father-in-law called me countless times and sent countless iMessages, but I ignored them all. The next morning, when I returned home, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were still there. Upon seeing me, they rushed over, relieved. "James, we were so worried about you all night." Ava sat on the sofa, her eyes red and swollen from crying. My mother-in-law said, "We gave her a good scolding last night. No matter what, it was Ava's fault. But what's done is done. We need to find a solution, don't you think?" I remained silent. My mother-in-law continued, "If you need to vent, you can hit her, scold her, whatever you want." Ava protested, "Mom." I slowly started to speak. "Mom, Dad, ask yourselves honestly. Since I've been with Ava, how have I treated her? How have I treated you? How have I treated David? Haven't I done my absolute best to handle everything for this family? And what did I get in return? Betrayal and deceit. So you tell me, how should I solve this? How should I face this?" My father-in-law, filled with shame and anger, kicked Ava right in front of me.